Bye.
Why do I have a feeling?
Saturday, the 6th day of October 2012. We're glad you're watching KTN and a very warm welcome to KTN Saturday Night Live. I'm Sophia Wanuna. Let's get straight to it by looking at the stories making headlines this evening. Flights cancelled as Kenya Airways pilots on go slow. Drama's woman emerges to disrupt wedding. KDF in door-to-door hunt for Al-Shabaab rebels. And still on KTN, Carl Tundo wins national rally title. Welcome. Kenya Airways passengers have been stranded across the globe after several flights were cancelled and schedules of departures and arrivals disrupted as Kenya Airways pilots staged a go-slow. The airline's pilots say they started the go-slow last evening after the airline's management failed to honor an agreement on working hours. KTN's Joy Doreen Bida has the latest from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Kenya Airways passengers remained stranded as far off as Cairo since last evening when the airline's pilots withdrew their services, demanding that the airline honor an agreement on remunerating pilots who work longer hours. This becomes the second major paralysis to hit the national carrier in the recent past. Last year, the airline's air hostesses went on strike, paralyzing operations. At Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, several aeroplanes operated by Kenya Airways were seen resting on the tarmac and pilots walked about. Kenya Airways had previously negotiated an agreement with Kenya Airlines Pilot Association that required its members to voluntarily avail their expertise to work during off-time hours with the legal limits approved by the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Kenya Airways Chief Executive Titus Naikuni issued a statement appealing for calm among the passengers and said the airline would do everything to ensure the passengers reach their destinations. Naikuni says Kenya Airways will continue to operate its flights and are doing its best to ensure a smooth operation of services. Even if passengers at the departures terminals shied away from admitting to whether or not they had been affected by the withdrawal of services by the pilots, the long queues explained it all. However, staff at the airport admitted to KTN that for days some passengers' flights have been delayed, forcing the flight vessel to apologize in a statement issued Saturday afternoon. While this will cost the country's listed airliner its diligent passengers, the management says discussions with Kenya Airlines Pilot Association and Kenya Civil Aviation Authority are ongoing to resolve the matter. Withdrawal of goodwill by Kenya Airways pilots has for the past 2 weeks disrupted flight schedules at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now this means that this could probably soon see some flights cancelled in the future as a result of the withdrawal of goodwill. However, for now the Kenya Airways pilots continue to work as scheduled. What they're not doing is working overtime hours. For KTN, I am Joy Doreen Bira.
And we will continue to follow that developing story and bring you the very latest, even when the details come in to us. Now, the Somali National Army and pro-government allies last night began a door-to-door search for remnants of Al-Shabaab in Kismayu City. The operation is meant to restore a sense of peace, security, and normalcy for residents of Kismayu who have been under the yoke of the Al-Shabaab fighters for over 5 years now. Military commanders of the Al-Qaeda allied terror group fled the city last Saturday when Kenyan troops operating under the AMISOM command captured the city. Life is steadily returning to normal in Kismayu, though locals are still cautious and cannot celebrate yet for fear of retaliatory attacks from a small number of militants who are hiding among civilian population in the port city.
The Somali National Army is spearheading the operation to flush out members of the Al-Shabaab group that were left behind in Kismayo as the rest of the fighters fled to their hideouts in the forests and hills. The door-to-door searches have been adopted as the best strategy to round up members of Al-Shabaab and their sympathizers in the city. A small group of Al-Shabaab militants is suspected to have remained in Kismayo city to carry out suicide bombings, hit-and-run grenade attacks, and targeted shootings in their perfected guerrilla-style tactics, which they employed in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu.
Among 200 of them, they are in town. Still we are investigating, and we make our own struggle to get all those 200.
Kenyan troops are guarding strategic facilities and buildings in Kismayo. The troops have also been monitoring movements in and out of the town.
Out of Kismayo, there are 3 main exits. One heading toward Jamame, another one toward Janakabdala, and another one towards Balahaji. All those have got checkpoints, and the people doing the actual searching is the TFG.
Life is steadily returning to normal in Kismayo as the Somali National Army and pro-government forces patrol the streets daily in a bid to give confidence to residents. But locals are cautious and few are venturing out in the streets. Residents of Kismayo cannot celebrate yet for fear of Al-Shabaab remnants. KDF troops say they have spotted Al-Shabaab militants on radar. The militants operate in small groups and normally move at night. But the fighters have neither opened gunfire nor shelled mortars at positions held by Kenyan troops and pro-government coalition troops. The man in charge of security and commander of the Raskamboni Brigade, Sheikh Ahmed Madobe, says his forces are running joint operations with the Somali National Army to provide the much-needed security.
You have seen the local. Still, you know, they are afraid because almost around 5 or 4 years, they are under control of Al-Shabaab by the very strong hand. That's why the civilian, they get now to hope maybe they will get alive, something like that. And
KDF combat engineers continue to comb the city, searching and destroying improvised explosive devices believed to have been left behind by the militant group. Al-Shabaab's main Chako point is now under AMISOM forces control. According to the United Nations, Al-Shabaab earned an estimated $15 million, an equivalent of 1.5 billion shillings each year from taxes on charcoal trade. The terror group also minted an additional 4 billion shillings in taxes on contraband goods, including sugar, electronics and weapons passing through Kismayo port. The UN Security Council late February this year banned the export of Somalia charcoal, but the insurgents ensured the charcoal reached their markets in Dubai and the Gulf states. AMISOM troops have choked off the route supply. Somali police officer cadets who graduated mid this year after a 2-year professional training course in self-defense, counter-terrorism, criminal investigations, crowd control and community policing are now engaged in maintaining law and order in liberated areas of Somali capital Mogadishu.
The mandate is centered around capacity building, reform and restructure of the Somalia police force.
The police cadets will play a critical role in protecting the lives of civilians, protecting VIPs and ensuring peace across the country. Young Somali female have also expressed enthusiasm to join the police force as a sign of patriotism, especially now that there is growing hope of peace return to war on Somalia after 20 years of clan rivalry. Patrick Amimo, KTN Saturday Night.
There was drama at a PCA church in Nyeri when a wedding was disrupted by a woman claiming she had lived with a groom for 7 years and had bore 3 children together. Here are the details. Margaret Wanjiru was a happy bride, excited to say I do to the love of her life, Joseph Nderitu, at a PCA church in Kamwadhi, Nyeri County. And just like every bride, she hoped all would go well and that it would be a day to remember. However, one of the things she will remember about her big day is how another woman rudely interrupted her beautiful ceremony just before she pledged her eternal commitment to her fiancé, claiming to have lived with her groom for 7 years and had bore 3 children.
Because alinitoa shule nikiwa standard 7, nikiwa na 13 years, nikapata naye watoto 3, nikateseka sana, nilikuwa nataka tu rights ya watoto wangu. Na hiyo harusi pia haikutangazwa. Sasa nataka huyo mwenye amechikanisha hiyo harusi ashukulie atue. hatua juu watoto wako na rights zao.
Niko na mahitaji kibao sana, na tuseme kasa inaenda campus na kuna vitu, a lot of things that nahitaji ara my share from my dad. So being this woman, it means that hiyo yote sitapata.
The other woman's attempt to have the wedding stopped was, however, unsuccessful, as the pastor announced that the period given by the church to present any reasons why the two should not be joined in holy matrimony had already elapsed. And as the ceremony continued, the woman was held back by family members and relatives to avert further interruptions.
Tuliachana na 1996, halafu 2012 ndio wanakuja kudai mimi. Na mimi kwa Attorney General sijafanya ya sasa, sikuwa nimekata kiada, sikuwa nimefanya nini.
Ni nzuri kwa sababu nimepata mzee.
So albeit the incident, Margaret Wanjiru and Joseph Nderitu were announced husband and wife. In other news, BBC Swahili service will tomorrow evening launch a national televised debate show in Kiswahili on KTN at 6 p.m. Journalist Joseph Warungu will present Sema Kenya, which means Kenya Speaks. Warungu is former head of the BBC's African News and Current Affairs Department, where he was responsible for the flagship show Focus on Africa. The show will travel around the country, bringing officials and well-known public figures together with ordinary people to debate the big issues of the day. It will run up and through the general election, up to and through the general election on 4th March 2013. The first broadcast will start from Mombasa with security, land issues and drug abuse up for discussion. The program will also raise awareness of the 6 ballots instead of 3 being cast on the same day. Kenyans will elect the president, county governors, senators, members of parliament, women representatives and county assembly members. It will also explore and discuss recent electoral and constitutional reforms between broadcasts. The discussions will continue throughout the country on the internet, SMS and social media. Sema Kenya will work with local civil society organizations to give communities with low media access a voice in the debate. Sema Kenya will broadcast Sundays at 1 p.m. on radio and 6 p.m. on television, and will air on broadcasting partners, KTN, BBC Swahili, and 6 radio stations, including 3 vernacular stations. In other news, the government has assured this year's national examinations candidates that there will be adequate security during the exams. Now, this follows what Internal Security Minister Kato Ole Metito says plans by the secessionist Mombasa Republican Council, MRC, to disrupt the exams. Here are the details. As if a 3-week strike that paralyzed education in public schools countrywide in the most crucial school term for candidates who will be sitting their final exam was not enough, students attending schools in the coastal region are now faced with another challenge of possible disruption of their KCPE and KCSE by the Mombasa Republican Council, MRC.
They are also planning to disrupt the Kenya National Examination Council for both Class 8 and Form 4 towards the end of the year. So these are people who are not really meaning any good for this country.
Metito says that the government believed the MRC was behind the Thursday attack on Fisheries Minister Amason Kingi and his supporters. Just a week ago, more than 14 people were killed during MRC oathing activities in Akilifi Forest amid revelations that they were planning to launch major attacks in the coast province. This as the government has been unable to crack the whip on the group due to a ruling in June lifting a ban on MRC.
A court ruling that said MRC is not legal. But now, taking into account what has happened, the violent acts that MRC has engaged into since that time, we are planning to go back to court and ask for the review of that order. And really seek for more review with the aim of ensuring that MRC is illegal.
And if a recent poll is anything to go by, then majority of Kenyans will be hoping that the government wins its appeal and that MRC is declared an illegal group. The poll conducted by CPS International indicated that 83.2% of Kenyans do not support the Mombasa Republican Council. As the country heads to the general election, it is critical that the government firmly deals with any individual or grouping that threatens to disrupt peaceful coexistence.
Kaloleni Residential Estate in Eastlands area of Nairobi today celebrated its 70th year since its inception. It was during the ceremony that Kaloleni residents took time to also celebrate the estate's heroes, the likes of Tom Mboya, George Ndenge, Milton Obote, Moody Awori, amongst other historical political personalities that lived there. Our reporter Malaki Villa visited the area and reports that despite its tattered and dilapidated walls, the city council-run estate was a rich, or rather has a rich heritage.
They are political heavyweights who fought for Africa, jealously guarding its pride and heritage, and they trace their roots right here. Kaloleni, a humble neighborhood in Nairobi's Eastlands area, it is an area that they proudly identify themselves with. They are the Kaloleni Hall of Fame. Today, Kaloleni marked 70 years since its inception, and on visiting the area, we met with George Ndenge, a former Kamukunji Member of Parliament and businessman, together with the Mau Mau veteran Muthoni Kirima. They took us through Kaloleni's history.
Ni Kaloleni nilimekuta ikiwa namna hiyo. Na mahali tulianza kusikia maneno ya mzee Kenyatta ni hapa Kaloleni. Na tulikuwa tukiimba gemi na Kaloleni ciariraga tayuma, gemi na ciariraga tayuma.
Kaloleni ilianza around army ilipokwisha, yani vita ya 39 to 45 ilipokwisha. Sasa British akawa anasema atawasaidia wa Afrika, atawathangi na matendo, ndio akawajengea Kaloleni, akawajengea ziwani around that time.
At that time, only the elite lived there.
Wale watu waliokuwa wamesoma ndio waliishi huko. Wale wengine walikuwa wanaishi Pumwani. Hawakutaka nyumba za kizungu. Siku hizo hizi zilikuwa zaitwa za kizungu.
Born in a family of 6 siblings, 85-year-old Ndenge decided to move to Kaloleni Estate, where he lived from 1955 to 1957 for only one sole reason.
Mimi nikaja kuishi Kaloleni niliposikia sasa kulikajengwa nyumba za wangwana, ambao choo una choo yako peke yako na rumu 2 zako. Basi siku hiyo wale tuliokuwa tumesoma, tuliokuwa tumefika form 4 tukua hata 10, tulikuwa wachache. Basi mimi nikaenda huko Kaloleni FQ, yani family quarters. Nikaishi huko 55, 56, 57 nikahama. Nikaenda kukajengwa ile inaitwa Ofava Maringo.
Being an estate for the chosen few, we sought to know the meaning behind this famous name.
Ni kama kitu kina mwangazo, ni kitu kizuri. Kaloleni ni kama sasa tukisema ile muzijano ukimuona, si unamuona ni mrembo. Kaloleni ni nyamuna kama hiyo tu, ni kitu kizuri.
In spite of the beautiful name this estate has, Muthoni Kirima tells us that times were not as easy at first, especially given the fact that the British colonialists were still ruling Kenyans.
Siku hiyo maisha hakuwa mzuri, kwa maana kulikuwa wakoloni tu. Na kama mkoloni yakewa, unajua wale wanaishi na hawa wazungu ni kama watumwa tu. Ni ile mzungu akisema kitu lazima mfanye.
Kabla ya wakati huo watu waliishi wamechanganyika. Bahati ikawa sasa ni ya Wakikuyu. Mimi niliishi Bahati miaka mingi mimi mwenyewe. Alafu wakawa sasa Kikuyu. Hiyo ilitokana na wakati wa emergency. Ndio wakitafuta mtu kama ni Mkikuyu wajua atatafuta Bahati. kama Kaloleni ilikuwa inaishi makabila yale mengine. Hasa Wakikuyu walitaka kujulikana wako wapi, sababu ndio walikuwa waambiwa wakubwa wa Maumau. Kulikuwa na Wakamba na makabila ile ingine kidogo kidogo.
It is then that they decided to fight for the independence of our beloved Kenya, a conquest that she strongly maintains that Kenyans should never forget about.
Hawa watu malitukuta hapa na manakuja kutuhangaisha. Na hii Kenya ni yetu. Nataka mkumbuke sana wavulana na wasichana. Hii Kenya yetu tulikula tafu kabisa. Kabisa. Na ingetaka wavulana na wasichana mabadilishe nia yao. Kwa maana hii Kenya ni hawa tunawaacha maishi. Mataishi nyamuna gani kama manatumio ni mkoroni. Kwa hivyo wavulana na wasichana mafikirie sana makuwe kitu kimoja. Na mawache tabia mbaya.
They are in their 80s now, but they still are strong, vigorous and healthy. Something which Ndenge attributes to.
Nikajaribu tennis, nikaona siwezi. Football nilikuwa siwezi. Nikaingia kwa golf. Niliingia golf miaka 45 iliyopita. Kazi yangu ni kucheza golf na kutembea mguu. Ananiambia wacha gari, tembea mguu. Usilalie gondoro. Nikija kwako nipe mkeka kitu ngumu.
Forever, they say they'll remain to be proud of being associated to this great area, Kaloleni. Mala Kivila, KTN Saturday Night.
Well, happy 70th to the Kaloleni residents. Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta wants all parties allied to the National Alliance to collapse into his party. This is to fortify the party's staff ahead of the general election to face its rivals. The Deputy Premier made the remarks in Oloitoktok during the homecoming celebration of Internal Security Minister Kato Olemetito.
Uhuru led the National Alliance Brigade to Internal Security Minister Kato Olemetito's homecoming in Oloitoktok, buoyed by its performance in the recent by-elections, clinching the Kangema and Kajiado North seats. TNA is keeping alive its plot to vanquish rival parties.
I can see you are ready in Kajiado County. Lakini mje pole pole. Najua sasa mmepeana bendera, mnataka mimi nikuje na mimi sikuji.
The DPM, in a gesture to consolidate his party ranked second after ODM in the polls, urged the TNA ally parties to dissolve into TNA. This to fortify his troops in the general elections contest.
Tunawaomba wenzetu mkubali pamoja tuingie, sisi ambao tunafikiri pamoja, ambao tuko na mwelekeo ambao unafanana, sisi zote tuingie ndani ya chama moja na tusimame pamoja.
Meanwhile, the Internal Security Minister, who defected from Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi's UDF to TNA, was talking tough on sects and groups propagating violence and secession.
Nitasunguka hii Kenya mzima kuhakikisha kuna amani. Haswa wakati huu tunaelekea uchaguzi mkuu. Hatutaki mtu yeyote ambaye anajaribu kufuruga, ama mtu yeyote ambaye anasema eneo hili sio Kenya, ama mtu yeyote ambaye atasema eneo hili hakutakuwa na uchaguzi. Hiyo itakuwa ni kazi yangu kusunguka kila wakati, kila mahali, kuhakikisha iko amani, iko uchaguzi wa huru na wa haki.
TNA is shaping up to do battle with Raila Odinga's ODM party in the 2013 general election.
You are watching KTN Saturday Night Live. We now take a short break, but just ahead, we have the feature of the day, and tonight we bring you a story about a group of young people who are admitting their involvement in the 2008 post-election violence. Stay with us.
Download Kwata Kawaya by Mbuvi, SMS Kwata to 6007.
Mimi mpenzi wa yours, kimpenda mwingi
download Mpenzi by Willie Paul, SMS Mpenzi to 6007.
Slices of life.
See, there is a voice that cries, there is no better time to wage this war for peace, to fight this cruel disease. If we could just use our heads, if we could just use morphine, sleep under a net, keep our surroundings clean, cause we're losing our people every day, and every day malaria thrives, taking our children, dreams away. We stand prepared, and we take a stand to fight malaria. So please lend save the future, take the lead. We can do it, we're a team. Together we're one team.
Might get the job done, but now there's a way to add sparkle and fun with new Nuru multi-purpose soap, because Nuru does something no other bar can do.
Let the sunshine, let the sunshine.
The white bar with glycerine that's gentle on your skin.
Sunshine,
the blue bar that deals with any stain. The yellow bar with lemon scent that washes pots and pans. The green bar that sends germs down the drain. Only longer-lasting Nuru can make everything shine. Oh, let the sunshine in with Nuru multi-purpose soap.
Win a DPL Festive Bread Hamper and 5,000 shillings shopping voucher. All you have to do is go to Facebook, like the DPL Festive Bread page, upload a picture of yourself enjoying festive bread, get your friends to like the picture. The picture with the most likes wins. Winners will be announced daily. Everybody loves bread, but only the very finest bread can love you back.
So soft to touch and so tasty.
Kwa miezi 6, kipindi kipya cha Sema Kenya kitatembelea kila pembe ya nchi ili kukupa nafasi ya kuwahoji viongozi wako.
Kosa moja aliachichimuke.
Lakini huyu mke amekuwa na makosa mengi wanavyosema.
Lango langu ni hizi kwa upande wa polisi.
Usalama na vijana na ajira. Suluhu liko wapi?
Na hao ndio wenye kuchoma, hao ndio wenye kuimbia, wenye kupiga kura, au umewaweka wapi?
Sema Kenya kila Jumapili kuanzia saa 12 jioni kwenye KTN.
Welcome back to KTN Saturday Night Live. We're glad you're watching. 10 aliens, all of Ethiopian origin, were arrested early Saturday morning near the Kenya-Tanzania border in Loitoktok. It is not yet clear where the 10 who were arrested separately were headed to. Some of them were netted while on foot, while others were in public transport heading to the Tanzania border. The aliens lacked passports or any other identification documents. Loitoktok OCPD Beatrice Kiraguri, confirming the arrest, said incidents of aliens being arrested in the border town are on the increase, with at least an arrest being made weekly. The aliens have been locked up at Loitoktok police station, which also serves as an immigration checkpoint, and will be taken to court on Monday to face charges of being in the country illegally. The immigrants will be charged in a court in Kajiado since Loitoktok lacks the court's facilities. And now to the feature of the day, and a section of young people in Kuresoi are admitting their involvement in the 2008 post-election violence that resulted in the death of more than 1,000 people and the displacement of thousands of families. The youth say they are opening up because they want the society to forgive them and are now preaching peace. Zipara Karani reports from Kuresoi.
But they were too late to save anyone or anything. It was only an hour later.
The motivational factor and comments that was raised by speaker after speaker at the memorial and funeral service of Internal Security Minister Professor George Saitoti and his assistant Ora Ojode and 4 other colleagues in a plane crash on 10th June 2012 was peace should be maintained in respect of the departed.
Lucy Gatwanja and Captain Luke Oyugi.
Mheshimiwa Ojode na Mheshimiwa Saitoti walikuwa watu wapenda amani. Tukienda kwa kura, the only tribute we can pay to these two leaders ni kukemea siasa ya chuki, siasa ya matusi, siasa ya kutojali masilahi ya wengine.
We want to unite this country as one, and so that we remove the barrier that is there, which is called ethnic divide. Let us not see each other as Western Alliance, as Kamatusa, as Gema.
Why do we keep repeating the same words rather than acting on them and allowing those words to be our guide? To become our guide. That is definitely what would make a difference, is what would bring us together.
I have not heard of anyone ever catching him red-handed preaching tribal politics.
We meet a group of youth in Kuresoi North District in Sirikwa region, a place where the land is fertile and produces a surplus of Irish potatoes each year. Farming thus being the main economic activity within the region.
Bamba 10 ilikuwa bamba 30. Yani bamba 10 bob unanunua na 30 bob.
However, Kuresoi is seen as one of the hotspot places where tribal violence is concerned when it comes to elections or issues to do with resources.
Me, for my life, ndio ilikuwa sikia yangu ya kwanza kuona mtu akiriwa life mbele yangu. Sasa najua nilikuwa sana ile uoga. Yeah.
Tukisemekana watu wanapigana, itasatokea kuna tension. Vile unajua hapa hivi kuna makabila tofauti. Sasa na si kitu yenye imeanza. Tunasema ni kitu yenye imekuwa. Kutosikizana imekuwa.
Mara nyingi mimi nimelelewa hapa. 92 nilikuwa kijana mdogo, mimi sikuwa najua vita, nilikuwa naambia tu na mzazi fanya hivi, tunaingia msitu. Sasa mpaka hii ya 92 ya 207 ndio imenipata nikiwa mkubwa, nikakujua kumbe kunakuwa na shida aina hii. Mara nyingi tunakuta tu vita ambaye hatujui wenyewe wanapigana ni akina nani. Jua kama marafiki tumekaa nao hapa kwa muda mrefu sana. Sijaiona ati wanatoka pale wanaenda Molo. Na mimi siku na mkalenjini mwenye ametoka hapa ameuliwa Molo.
We had a session with a group of youth. They do admit openly they participated in the 2007 and 2008 post-election violence.
Paka tulishikwangu hapa tukapelekwa Nakuru. Na tukafanyia kesi hiyo ya siasa muda wa mwezi 6 alafu ndio tukaachiliwa.
Okay, kama mimi kijana nilikuwa kwa wakati zeo vita, lakini nilijuisha baadaye. Yeah.
Kwa nini ulijihusisha baadaye?
Okay, kwa sababu baadaye sasa ilikuwa kama defense, unaona.
Siara ya pesa. Nipata hata yani unakuwa fame, unajulikana ati wewe ni mbaya kuliko huyu. At least wewe unajua kuharibu, si ndio?
Juu mtu unatolewa kwako unaambiwa tuende leo, tunaenda pale fulani. Na hata una silaha unaambiwa tu tukimbieni. Labda umenunulia 20 shillings unaambiwa kimbieni. Hiyo ndio shida.
From their own experiences, they share to us and tell us that they are the ones who are used as foot soldiers during the violence. So we want to change this story, and it has to start with the community youth.
Close by, listening to every word they speak, is John Arapsonei, 70-year-old, who has lived and worked for the colonial masters during the colonial era back in the days. He even speaks in different dialects.
Mimi ni Kaliji.
He says he has seen it all, been there, and the act of violence the youth have committed amongst each other every now and then during elections in Kuresoi region.
Ni arte sababu alikuja tu bile anataka yarte desema hata kubaliza fande hiyo sitakuwa sasa watoto wako kama iko ndani ya nyumba. Nasema sasa huyu hii ni kitinda mimba kama mimi nanyaganya huyu zinakuwa namna hiyo.
The first thing for the youth is the employment. If we take care of the youth in employment and engaging them in activities that will help them now and in future, I think the youth will avoid any violence.
It's the hard facts. It's the hard facts. They tell you themselves that I participated in violence, I killed this number of people, and I was the one on the ground with the machete or with the bundukis. So this is the reality on the ground.
Thank you, Zipporah. Food additives have been used for centuries to enhance the appearance and flavor of food and prolong shelf life. But do these food additives really add any value to your food? And are they 100% safe to your health? Malaki Villa explores this subject and brings us the merits and demerits that food additives have on our health.
Long ago, such foods weren't missed in the African diet. They are delicacies that were highly valued by Africans, the reason behind their strong and healthy bodies. But with advancements in industrialization, all this changed. As much as this revolution had some positive effects on the people of the African continent, it has had its own impact on the nutritional transition of African people. The healthy, wholesome, nutritional traditional foods have been replaced by processed, high-fat, high-sugar foods of significantly lower nutritional value.
Most concern is about the man-made food additives. For example, you're talking about the nitrates in preservation of meat. We're talking about the nitrites, the sulfites, the benzoic acid in fruit juices. So these are some of the examples of man-made food additives.
It is for this reason, therefore, that the Consumer Federation of Kenya has raised an alarm on the safety of food additives following the rising concern among consumers on the safety of processed foods and beverages. In addition to the decreased physical activity levels associated with improved technology and infrastructure, this transition has contributed to an increase in lifestyle diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, and some forms of cancer.
Many Kenyans believe that cancer is caused by witchcraft and the fact that it could be a punishment. The worry for Kenyans has not been diagnosis, it has been more about treatment of cancer.
There's a correlation studies on food additives causing, overconsumption of food additives causing health problems like cancers. We find that there are some food additives that are carcinogenic. For example, the nitrates in meat preservation. We are talking about artificial sweeteners in soft drinks.
It is amazing how harmful food additives find their way into our foods to help ease processing, packaging and storage in spite of the strict laws that control the use of food additives in the Kenyan market and the stringent tests that they have to go through before being used in the foodstuffs. But how do you know what food additive is in that box of macaroni and cheese, and why does it have such a long shelf life? Statistics show that a typical African household spends about 90% of their food budget on processed foods, many of which cause dire consequences to our health.
You should not overdo this food. You should not eat a lot of these foods. Treat yourself once in a while, but don't eat these foods often. You can make your own snack at home, which is actually homemade prepared. So that is my advice on food additives.
But how well are these manufacturers informed on the harmful effects of some of these additives?
Awareness levels have been very low, in terms of people knowing the link.
Sometimes we have products that we are not able to adequately enforce the law and the standards, but the standards are there. It's just to improve our capacity for enforcement and be able to ensure that all manufacturers in food and processed foods observe these standards.
A situation that has caused the Consumer Federation of Kenya to initiate countrywide forums to discuss the safety of food additives with food manufacturers.
We hope that we can cover more counties and particularly get to the villages. We're also hoping that we can work with the mainstream media in this country and even the social media to be able to pass this message, particularly to Kenyans who have not been able to come for this meeting.
Here's a list of the top food additives to avoid. Some of the artificial sweeteners are believed to be carcinogenic, and medics say that they account for more reports of adverse reactions than all other foods and food additives combined. They further say that if taken in large amounts, the sweeteners may lead to a wide variety of ailments, including brain tumor, diabetes, chronic fatigue, emotional disorders, among many. Monosodium glutamate is an amino acid used as a flavor enhancer in many restaurant foods. It is said to contain a substance which overexcites cells to the point of damage or death. Medics say that regular consumption of this additive may result in adverse side effects which include depression, disorientation, eye damage, fatigue, headaches, and obesity. Trans fat is used to enhance and extend the shelf life of food products. This additive is formed by a process called hydrogenation, and medical experts reveal that they highly increase the bad cholesterol levels while decreasing the good cholesterol, increasing the risk of heart attacks, heart disease, and strokes. Medics also say that artificial colorings which are found in most food dyes may contribute to behavioral problems in children and lead to a significant reduction in IQ. Also, most of these artificial food colorings have been proven to cause thyroid cancer, and that they may also interfere with the brain nerve transmission.
We should minimize the grabs that we eat. If you feel like taking a snack, it is easier, it's cheaper, and it's easy to make a snack at home.
This is just but a few of the food additives that one should avoid. However, the traditional African diet provides many benefits. They are high in fiber, have low sodium and fat levels, are natural and organic, among other benefits.
You should check your labels when you're buying these foods in the supermarkets. Make sure that you know which ingredients have been added to the foods in the market. And then we also find that people with special diets, we are talking about diabetes, we're talking about asthma, they should visit their dietitian and their doctors so that they can be able to be advised on what kinds of foods they should avoid and those that they should minimize.
So, the next time you get into a food store or supermarket to buy your products, think again. Ensure that you are extra keen on the product's composition. Mala Kivila, Healthy You.
African Dishes in association with Golden Fry. How to prepare mahamri. Ingredients: 3 cups all-purpose flour, 1 level teaspoon dry yeast, 1 tablespoon Bidis margarine, 1 egg, 3/4 cup sugar, 1 cup coconut milk, half a cup milk optional, 1 teaspoon cardamom powder, golden fry oil for frying. Instructions: in a glass bowl, mix the eggs, milk, Bidis margarine, coconut milk, cardamom and sugar until smooth. In the mixture, add the flour and knead into smooth and elastic dough. Divide the dough into 4 portions, then set aside covered with a kitchen cloth and leave in a warm place to rest for 1 to 2 hours. If the dough is not elastic enough, add some all-purpose flour. After 1 to 2 hours, lightly knead the dough well and roll out, rolling in one direction to ½ inch thick. Cut into triangle shapes. In a deep frying pan, heat the golden fry oil. Once hot, deep fry the triangular shaped dough until golden brown on both sides. Drain on kitchen paper, sprinkle lightly with icing sugar, then serve.
Golden fry. Fries more, lasts longer. The 10th edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon takes place on the 28th of October. Get yourself ready by engaging in daily exercises. The top reasons to exercise include: reduces medical and healthcare expenses, gives you more energy to meet the demands of daily life, increases your level of muscle endurance, helps you sleep easier and better. Prepare yourself to run for a reason.
Register now at all Standard Chartered Bank branches, Nakumatt supermarkets and online on www.nairobimarathon.com. Registration closes on Sunday, 21st October 2012. Run for a reason.
From the most stylish of streets to the roughest of roads. From the town by day to the country at night.
The Nissan Navara Double Cab is one of the unique pickups in the market. One of the features that distinguish the Navara from the rest of the Nissan off-road family is its powerful 2.5-litre common rail turbo engine with outstanding fuel efficiency. The Navara has a sleek yet tough appearance. Everything about the Nissan Navara's exterior exudes power and confidence. It is an ideal vehicle either for individuals who enjoy an off-road lifestyle or business people looking for a reliable pickup.
Nani kama Nissan?
She's got a cold again. Well, I'm sure you're taking proper care of your hygiene. Yes, I use antiseptic liquid in my bath water. But germs are also getting smarter, and your protection is still the same. So what's better? Advanced Lifebuoy. While bathing, it gives better germ protection than antiseptic liquid. 10 infection-causing germs, 1 advanced protection. Lifebuoy.
Goes to Masaku. Get to interact with the best of gospel music and chit-chat. Muende, Mbiema, and DJ Kroba.
Little more music coming your way. Big tunes, a couple of brand new videos.
Featuring artists from Machakos, Kabasa, Kipro, Tahila, and Dafari, and the best of dance groups in Machakos. It's the best of Masaku for Kenya and for Christ. This Sunday, Tukuza is live in Machakos from 9 a.m. at Peter Mulei Supermarket, Pioneer. Entrance is free. It's a fresh start indeed for Machakos.
The most
most coveted red carpet Kisima Awards. The 10th edition award ceremony is slated for 2nd November 2012. Last year's winner took 1 million shillings. This year the stakes are higher. 2 million up for grabs. Kisima Music Awards, making legends. Kisima Awards advocates for a peaceful electoral process in Kenya and our rights to vote for a greater Kenya. For details, visit kisimaawards.co.ke or call 251-6564.
Welcome back to KTN Saturday Nights Live. Let's now talk sports. And